silence between you and the person you can't stop thinking about isn't empty. It's actually full of words they are too afraid to say. Before we go any further, I need you to take a slow, deep breath. Let your shoulders drop. This isn't a casual topic we are stepping into today. We are going to talk about the invisible space that exists between two people who are deeply connected but separated by fear. If there is one specific individual who occupies the background of your mind constantly, not just occasionally, but as a steady hum beneath your daily life, there is a psychological reason for that. If there is a gap between you right now, whether it's miles on a map or simply weeks of radio silence, I need you to listen carefully. That distance is not what you think it is. It is not a wall they built to keep you out. It is a moat they built to protect a castle they believe is unworthy of you. The first truth you have to accept is this: the person you are thinking about has not forgotten you. You aren't just a faded photograph in their memory. This isn't a loud, dramatic kind of love you see in movies, with grand gestures and constant texts. No, this is the other kind. The heavy kind. The kind that sits on your chest at 2 a.m. It's a quiet, often painful love. This person carries the echo of your voice with them. They remember the way you laughed at something stupid, or how safe they felt just sitting next to you in silence. So, if the connection is that strong, why is there an ocean between you? Here is the difficult psychology of love. Love does not always act like a magnet, pulling two pieces together. Sometimes, love acts like a mirror. And when someone looks into that mirror and sees you, they don't just see your beauty. They see their own reflection standing next to you. They see their own cracks, their own unhealed wounds, and their own inadequacies. You don't just touch their heart. You touch the old scars, the parts of them that are still raw and bandaged. And that terrifies them. It's not because you did something wrong. It's because you did something incredibly right. You made them feel a depth of emotion they are not equipped to handle. Their nervous system interprets your depth as a threat. This distance you are experiencing is not a rejection of your value. It is a survival mechanism for their fear. They stay away because they feel too much, not too little. They know, instinctively, that if they let the walls down and let you in fully, they would fall. They would lose the tight grip they have on their own carefully managed chaos. To avoid that risk, they opt for silence. It's a preemptive strike against potential heartbreak, either you breaking them or them inevitably failing you. They look at your capacity to love, your openness, and they feel small. They look at you and think, you deserve someone who isn't this broken. This is the painful truth that keeps them awake at night. Instead of trying to rise to meet you, they shrink. They convince themselves that they are doing you a favor by staying away. They tell themselves that you will eventually find someone easier, someone less complicated. Distance becomes their twisted gift to you. They are fighting a war in their head, and you are the prize they feel unworthy of claiming. So while you are wondering why your phone remains silent, they are wrestling with the urge to call, typing out messages they delete before sending. Their silence is not peaceful. It is a battlefield. When you love someone who hasn't healed from their past, the connection creates a paradox. If they have been betrayed, abandoned, or made to feel small before, your genuine affection feels like a threat. You represent real intimacy. And to a wounded mind, real intimacy means real responsibility and real potential for pain. So they create space because they care. They pull back because moving forward feels like walking into a minefield. They don't trust themselves to hold your heart gently. They know how serious you are, how deeply you feel, and they are terrified of starting a journey they don't have the map for. Silence feels like a broken bone that is set wrong, painful, but familiar. Risking a real connection feels like surgery. Now, let's turn the lens on you. Why can't you stop thinking about them? It's because emotional bonds don't break just because communication stops. Your soul recognizes that the story hit a pause button, not a stop button. Your mind keeps looping back because the connection was interrupted, not concluded. This lack of closure creates a mental echo chamber. Meanwhile, in their quietest moments, when they are driving alone or lying in bed, they think about you. They wonder if you're okay. They wonder if you hate them. They replay conversations and imagine different endings. They wish they had been braver, but fear has them locked in a cell, and they've lost the key. The most shocking realization in all of this is that your presence in their life threatened to change them. And real change is terrifying. You challenged their old habits. You made them see a version of themselves that could be happy, stable, and loved. And that version was a stranger to them. Instead of getting to know that stranger, they ran back to the familiar darkness. This is why chasing them for answers will never work. If you push, if you demand clarity, you are just adding pressure to a wound. You are validating their fear that they can't handle you. They need the pressure to disappear so they can breathe. Please understand this deeply. You are not unlovable. You are not too much. You did not imagine the electricity between you. You simply crossed paths with someone who looked into the depths of the ocean with you, but forgot how to swim. They saw the beauty of the deep water and panicked. That is not your fault. Love doesn't always mean holding hands in the present. Sometimes, love means a season of separation is required for growth. Not every connection is meant to last forever in its current form. Some people are sent into our lives not to stay, but to wake us up. If they ever do return to your shore, it won't be with the same hesitant knock. It will be different. It will be because they finally chose the terror of courage over the comfort of fear. Until that moment, the distance has a purpose. The final message for you today is to stop blaming your reflection for someone else's blurry vision. Stop shrinking your light to make their shadows feel more comfortable. Do not build a home in the waiting room of sadness. If they love you in a way that matters, they will eventually find the strength to show up fully. If they cannot, then the distance is not a punishment designed for you. It is a corridor, guiding you away from a closed door and toward an open one. You have to internalize this. Someone can love the shape of your soul and still not be ready to stand in the same room with it. That truth stings, but it is a necessary truth. It is meant to steer you toward a love that doesn't need absence to survive. Thank you for staying with me. If you want to understand more about the hidden mechanics of the human heart, consider subscribing. The person in your mind right now? They are currently replaying a conversation that never happened. While the silence stretches on, their thoughts are louder than ever. You might suddenly feel a wave of sadness, or a random vivid memory of them might surface. This isn't coincidence. Often, this is because they are focusing their mental energy on you in that moment. They are starting to realize that the fortress they built to keep out pain has become a prison. They thought isolation would bring peace. Instead, it brought a hollow emptiness that echoes only with memories of you. They are beginning to understand the flaw in their logic. The next truth you must hold on to is this. Even though they pulled away, they are waiting for a sign. This is the maddening contradiction of the fearful heart. They want to know you are still there, that the door is still slightly ajar, yet they are too scared to knock. They might check your profile, ask a mutual friend a casual question, or look for any hint that you've moved on. Seeing you grow, seeing you find happiness without them, creates a painful cocktail of pride and regret. They see your strength, and it reminds them of exactly what they walked away from. The silence between you is a brutal but effective teacher. It is teaching you that your worth is not dependent on someone else's readiness. It is teaching them that fear has a tuition fee, and it's paid in lost love. If you continue to pour your energy into your own life, your own healing, and your own goals, you change the entire frequency of the connection. When you stop waiting, something shifts. You become a magnet to the very person who ran, not because you are playing games, but because you are no longer feeding their fear with your desperation. You are showing them a masterclass in what wholeness looks like. Eventually, the gravitational pull of missing you will outweigh the fear of losing themselves. This is the tipping point. They will stand at a crossroads, stay in the safe, familiar corner of loneliness, or step into the blinding light to reach for you. If they choose to remain silent forever, it is simply an indication that their path is a solo one for now. Their lesson is not yet learned. But if they return, they will return with a new map. They will come back with the words they swallowed for months. Until then, use this time to architect a life you love, regardless of who is in the audience. As the calendar pages turn, you might notice the energy between you and this person beginning to warp and shift. You might experience days of total peace, followed by a sudden, intense feeling that they are about to contact you. This happens because the dam they built is cracking. The distractions they used, work, social events, other people, are losing their potency. Nothing fills the void where your specific connection used to be. They are approaching a moment where they must confront the monster they've been running from. There is a secret reason they haven't spoken yet, and it's the fear of your reaction. They worry that too much sand has passed through the hourglass. They imagine you've closed the door, changed the locks, and thrown away the key. They picture you angry, or worse, indifferent. The thought that you might have forgotten them is a cold dread. You were the one real thing in a world of surface-level interactions. They are trapped in a loop of regret, wanting to fix things but feeling like they've already lost the right to try. This is precisely why you must remain patient with your own process. Don't wait by the phone, but don't close your heart to the lessons of this silence. The universe is using this gap to test your ability to find happiness internally. This distance is a final exam in self-love. And here is the strange rule of life. When you finally reach a place where you don't need their message to feel complete, that is usually when the message arrives. Things come to us when we stop chasing them. By focusing on your own path, you are giving them the gift of absence. They need to feel the full weight of a world without you in it to understand the true value of your presence. In the end, this journey is about more than just the two of you. It's about understanding that real love doesn't require you to suffer in a waiting room. If they are meant to be part of your future, they will find the courage to rebuild the bridge they burned. They will realize that the fear of losing you is far more terrifying than the fear of being vulnerable. Until that moment arrives, trust the process. You are being refined. You are being prepared for a love that is honest, brave, and consistent. Whether that love comes from them, transformed, or from someone entirely new, you are moving toward a connection where you will never have to decode the silence. As the days turn into weeks, a new kind of strength will begin to grow in your chest. You will realize you have survived the worst of the drought. This is the moment the balance of power shifts. For so long they held the cards because you were the one waiting, wondering, hoping. But now, as you invest in yourself, they are the ones feeling the weight of the loss. They are starting to see you move forward, not out of spite, but out of self-respect. This realization hits them hard. You are not a backup option. You are a rare find, and they may have lost you forever. You might feel a strange sense of release. You stop obsessing over the why of their actions. You stop asking why they weren't ready, and start asking if they are even compatible with the person you are becoming. This is a healthy milestone. It means you have risen above the frequency of their fear. You are vibrating at a level of self-worth that demands a partner who is brave enough to show up. They can sense this change. Energy travels where words cannot. They feel the tether of the connection pulling tighter, but differently. It's not you clinging to the rope. It's the rope itself tightening as you pull your energy back into yourself. The final truth about this distance is that it is a clearing. It is burning away the old patterns of chasing and hiding. If they do decide to step forward, The relationship cannot be a sequel to the old one. It has to be a reboot. It has to be built on honesty instead of avoidance. They know this, and that's why they hesitate. They are in the changing room of their own soul, deciding if they are ready to wear the skin of the person you actually deserve. So continue walking your path with your head high. Don't let the silence make you feel small. You are being redirected toward a version of yourself that is stronger and wiser. Whether this person finds their courage or stays lost in their own shadows, you are winning. You are winning because you kept your heart open when it was easier to weld it shut. You are winning because you are learning that the best love stays, communicates, and values you enough to never let distance become a permanent wall. As you settle into this new phase, you will notice the physical world reflecting your inner peace. You might see their name in a random place, or hear a song that was yours. These aren't cosmic commands to chase them. They are reminders that the bond existed, that it was real. But the most important change is that these signs no longer trigger anxiety. You observe the feeling, acknowledge it, and let it pass. You are becoming the master of your own emotional state. The person in your mind is now at a critical junction. They are realizing that time is not an infinite resource. They used to think they could wait forever to sort themselves out. But seeing you move on is a loud alarm clock. They are starting to fear that the door they left cracked open is slowly swinging shut. This realization is painful, but necessary. Sometimes, a person has to feel the total vacuum of your absence to realize you were the air they needed. Their ego is deflating, and their true feelings are rising to the surface. You might feel a sudden urge to try something new, a hobby you postponed, a trip you dreamed about. Follow that impulse. This is your soul expanding, making room for new joy. When you fill your life with things you love, you broadcast to the universe that you are ready for the best. You are no longer waiting for one person to give you permission to be happy. This fierce independence is what will ultimately dissolve the distance, one way or another. The story is approaching a point where the truth can no longer hide in the shadows. Soon, there will be a moment of clarity. Whether it arrives via a surprise message, a random encounter, or an internal realization that you are ready for something completely new, the fog will lift. You will look back at this time of distance and recognize it as the most important growth period of your life. You didn't just survive the silence, you used it as fertilizer. The love you are heading toward now will meet you with the same intensity and strength that you carry in your own heart. The moment of truth is approaching. You can feel it in the air. The long chapter of waiting is ending. A new one is beginning. You have reached a point where you are no longer defined by the person who left or the silence they left behind. You are defined by your own resilience. The person in your mind is sensing this shift. They feel the tether thinning because you are no longer holding on with a white-knuckled grip. This creates a panic they haven't experienced before. They finally realize you are a person who can thrive without them. And that realization is the only force powerful enough to make them move. When the silence finally breaks, it will likely happen in a way you don't expect. It won't be a grand cinematic apology at first. It might be a simple text, a question about something trivial, a meme. They are testing the temperature of the water. They are looking for a sign that they haven't destroyed the harbor. This is where your growth becomes your greatest asset. You will find that you no longer feel the need to rush toward them. You will listen with a calm, steady heart and see them for who they are now, not just who you wanted them to be. You will have the power to decide if their evolution matches yours. The hidden reason for the distance has served its purpose. It forced them to confront their fears, and it forced you to discover your own worth. If you choose to let them back in, it will be on new terms. There will be no more shrinking, no more walking on eggshells. The relationship must be rebuilt on the foundation that both people are responsible for their own healing. If they are not ready for that level of accountability, you will find that letting go is far easier than it used to be. You have learned that your happiness is a gift you give yourself, not something you borrow from someone else. Looking ahead, the path is clear. You are walking toward a life filled with genuine connection and deep respect. The lessons learned in the silence are the tools you will use to build a future that lasts. You have transformed pain into wisdom and waiting into self-discovery. This is the end of the old story and the prologue to a much better one. You are ready for a love brave enough to stay. And you will never settle for less. The distance is over because you have finally found your way back to the only person you were ever truly missing, yourself. As you step into this final stage, a deep sense of calm will replace the old anxiety. The constant questioning in your mind has stopped because you have accepted the truth. You now understand that the distance was never a measure of your worth. It was a measure of their capacity to handle something real. This clarity is your reward. The person in your mind is also reaching a final realization. They see that in trying to protect themselves from the pain of losing you, they engineered the very loss they feared. The irony of their silence has finally struck them, and the weight of that regret is impossible to ignore. The energy of the connection is peaking. When two people have been separated by fear, a bridge eventually forms out of necessity. They are standing on their side of that bridge, looking across at who you have become. They see someone who is no longer waiting, someone glowing with self-reliance, someone who has turned struggle into grace. This new version of you is both beautiful and intimidating. It forces them to understand that if they want a place in your life, they cannot come as a person ruled by fear. They must come as an equal, ready to do the work. Whether a conversation happens tomorrow or next year, the power is firmly in your hands. You have mastered the art of being okay on your own. That is the strongest position a person can occupy. You are no longer an option. You are a destination they must be worthy of reaching. If they reach out, you will find you are no longer triggered by their words. You will see through the excuses and hear what their heart is actually saying. You will have the wisdom to know if they have truly changed, or if they are just lonely for the warmth of your light. This is the ultimate psychology of the heart. Every period of distance is a filter. It filters out those not ready for your depth and keeps the space open for those who are. You have navigated the hardest part. You stayed true to your feelings while honoring your boundaries. Moving forward, you will attract connections that reflect this new strength. You are now a magnet for love that is honest, consistent, and fearless. The cycle of distance is broken because you are finally at peace with the silence. And that is when the most beautiful music of life begins to play again. As you move forward, a new sense of freedom will fill your lungs. The heavy weight that lived in your chest is lifting. You see the distance for what it was, a mirror showing you exactly what you need and what you deserve. The person in your mind is undergoing their final change. They are understanding that they cannot live in the past or hide in the shadows of fear. The silence has become too loud. Avoiding you didn't make their feelings go away. It made them grow stronger. There is a final shift in how you view this connection. You start to see the distance as a gift of time. Time for you to become your own best friend. Time for them to see what a world without you feels like. This is a powerful turning point. You no longer see the gap as a tragedy. You see it as a necessary pause that allowed you both to evolve. You are standing in total readiness. If they return, you will meet them with a clear mind and a protected heart. If they don't, you will continue walking with a smile, knowing you gave your best and stayed true to your soul. The hidden truths of the heart are finally in the light. You've learned that love is not just a feeling, but the courage to show up and stay present. You've discovered you have enough love inside you to fill any distance, but also enough wisdom to know when to save that love for yourself. This is the ultimate lesson. You have transformed a period of confusing silence into a lifetime of self-understanding. You are ready for a chapter with no more guessing, no more hiding, and no more distance. You are entering a season of life where things will start to make sense. The people who belong will make an effort to be there. The ones who don't will naturally fall away. Trust this process. You did the hardest part. You stayed strong when things were unclear. You kept your heart open when it was easier to close it. This strength will bring the right love to your door. You are a person of deep value, and the universe is now matching your energy with someone who sees that value as clearly as you do. As you enter this final stage of clarity, the world feels lighter. The mystery of why they stayed away no longer needs solving. You accept that their silence was a reflection of their internal limits, not your worth. The person in your mind is now feeling the full impact of your absence. Now that you've stopped sending your energy their way, they feel a coldness they didn't expect. This is the moment they realize your love was a choice you made every day. It wasn't something they were entitled to keep without effort. This realization forces them to look at their life honestly. They see how their pattern of running has cost them the thing they valued most. They may still struggle with the fear of being seen, but they can no longer deny that distance failed to bring them peace. They are starting to understand that true safety isn't found in isolation, but in being with someone who truly sees them. However, they also know you've changed. You are no longer the person who will wait forever. This makes their decision to reach out feel urgent. For you, the focus has shifted entirely. You are more interested in your own goals, your own joy, and your own peace than you are in their reasons. This is the ultimate victory. You took a situation designed to break your spirit and used it to build a foundation of iron. Your heart is still soft and capable of deep love, but your mind is now a gatekeeper that only lets in what is consistent and healthy. You are finally ready to receive a love that matches your bravery. You've learned that the best connection is one where both people walk through the fear together, rather than using distance as a shield. The story of the distance is closing, because its mission is complete. You found the love you were looking for, but you found it inside yourself first. Because you are now whole, you will no longer attract people who are half ready. You have closed the door on uncertainty and opened a door to stability. Whether this person steps through with a new heart or stays behind in the past, you are free. You are moving into a beautiful time where your heart is at rest, your mind is clear, and your path is bright. You are finally home within yourself. As you settle into this new peace, you will see the world with clarity. You will look back at the tears and the confusion with gentle compassion for your past self. You are no longer that person. The distance has finished its work of changing you. You have learned that you can feel a deep connection without letting it consume your life. This is emotional maturity. You can love someone from afar while still giving your best energy to your own life and the people who show up for you. The person in your mind is at a point of no return. They see that the version of you they once knew is gone, replaced by someone far more certain. This scares them, but it also creates a deep respect. They realize they can't come back with the same excuses or half-hearted efforts. If they want to be in your world, they have to rise to meet you. The silence has taught them that you are a rare soul, and that once you truly move on, you don't look back. This is the moment they decide, stay in their comfort zone, or take the biggest risk of their life. Your life is now opening up in ways you never thought possible. New opportunities, friendships, and experiences are flowing toward you because your energy is no longer stuck in the past. You are a live wire, humming with potential. The person who was once the center of your world is now just a figure on the shoreline of your past. You are sailing toward a new horizon. And on this ship, you are the captain. You set the course. You decide who is allowed to board. The days of begging for a spot on someone else's deck are over. You have your own vessel now, and it's sturdy, It was built in the shipyard of silence, reinforced with the steel of self-respect. This journey is yours. The final piece of this puzzle is understanding that you were never the one who needed to change. You were ready then. You are ready now. The delay was never about your readiness. It was about their willingness to catch up. And if they never do, you will not slow down. You will not turn the boat around. You will keep moving toward the horizon where the water is calm and the sun is always rising. You are not a lesson to be learned. You are a lifetime to be lived. And whoever is lucky enough to share that lifetime with you will not need a map to find you. They will navigate by the light you shine. They will arrive not with apologies for the distance, but with gratitude for the destination. The silence, in the end, was just the sound of you growing. And growth, as you now know, is rarely noisy. It happens in the quiet spaces, in the dark soil, beneath the surface. You have grown roots deep enough to withstand any storm. You have grown branches strong enough to hold your own weight. You are a tree now, not a vine. You don't need to wrap yourself around someone else to stand tall. You stand on your own. And that, right there, is the most attractive thing in the universe. A person who is whole, a person who is enough, a person who knows that while love is a beautiful addition to life, it is not the foundation of it. You are the foundation. Love is the home you choose to build on top of it. So, as we come to the end of this reflection, I want you to sit with that. Feel the ground beneath you. Feel the strength in your own spine. The person you were thinking about at the start of this video, they are still out there, navigating their own storm. But you are no longer waiting in the harbor for their ship to come in. You are already at sea, chasing your own sun. If they are meant to find you, they will have to sail hard and fast to catch up. And if they do, they will find a captain, not a castaway. And that is the difference. That is the transformation. The distance didn't break you. It made you the captain of your soul. Thank you for taking this journey with me. If these words resonated with the depth of your experience, you know what to do. Subscribe to join this community of deep thinkers and heart-led souls. Share this with someone who needs to hear that they are the captain, not the castaway. And remember, the silence was never empty. It was full of you, becoming yourself.